Hello everyone, I am by Murfat Kimutin, and for the next part, let's dive into the players in the world of art. Take a look at this figure, the prominent roles in the art world with their mandatory relationships. This is a network diagram which illustrates the relationship between various roles within the art world and how they interact with each other. So please listen carefully as I will shortly discuss these 17 players and their roles. First is the artist, the central figure and who create artworks. As you can see, napapalibutan ito ng mga multiple connecting lines. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga players and their roles here are dependent sa isa't isa. Especially sa ating central figure, isa na dito ang curator. Their role is to select and organize artwork for exhibitions in museums and galleries. This curator is connected to the museum director. So, the role of museum director is important as the curator typically report to him. Dahil ang trabaho ng director is to set the overall vision and strategy for the museum. The museum director and curator is accountable naman sa museum board member. The board makes sure the museum runs well, including the shows it puts on. The curator's work affects how well the museum does, which is important to the board. Next, the curator and museum educator often collaborate closely. Museum educators focus on interpreting and communicating the museum's collections to the public. Then, sa figure natin is connected din siya sa critics. So, ano nga ba ang trabaho ng mga critic? So, sila yung mga writers and thinkers who analyze and evaluate art. So, yung mga perspective ni critic, ginagamit yun ni curator to bring those perspective into the public sphere through exhibitions and programs. Next is gallery owner. Gallery owners are focused on selling art and building their business. Critics' reviews can influence a gallery owner's decision on which artist to represent and how to market their work. If kailangan naman ng tulong and may mag-a-assist sa ating gallery owner, andyan ang ating gallery assistant and gallery director, which is the one who manage a gallery exhibition and selling art. Sila ang nagka-come up ng idea about strategies, recruit talented artists, and how to manage the financial. Same work with the art fair director. But ang kanyang trabaho is mag-manage ng malaking art events. We are present doon ang ating galleries, artists, and collectors. It means mas mabigat ang kanyang role to make an event successful. So, ano ang ginagawa ni collector? Collectors are passionate individuals who purchase art for personal enjoyment, investment, or philanthropy. However, they do it with the help of experts like art advisor to expand their collection. Basically, the connection of artists and the art advisor is that the art advisor promotes the work of the artist and bridge the gap between artists and collectors. Beyond that, may players din tayo which are employees of artists like studio manager. Siya ang tinatawag nating right hand, kanang kamay ng artist. Kasi yung mga artists who did establish this professional image, they need studio for meetings, studio visits, and interaction with collectors and collaborators. Trabaho ni manager ay mapanatiling malinis ang studio, tracking the supplies, managing appointments sa mga collaborations like for example, may nag-approach na gallery directors and overall artist support. So doon siya nakafocus. But behind the studio manager, nandoon din ang storage manager, the one who managed the storage of artwork. Last role which is malapit din sa artist ay ang studio assistant. often work directly with the artist on a daily basis, assisting with the creative process, handling materials, and preparing artworks. Preparations such as checking canvases, mixing paint, or assisting with installations. While both studio managers and studio assistants are important to an artist's success, a studio assistant generally has a closer relationship with the artist due to their direct involvement in the creative process and their frequent interaction with the artist. Finally, we're done examining the players and their age roles. It becomes clear that the art world is becoming increasingly complex. Dumami ang journey at hinaharap ng ating artists like challenges, opportunities, and various elements. This means that the roles that have always been essential to the creation were finally acknowledged and given formal recognition, moving beyond informal or implicit understandings. These roles were given specific names and titles, establishing their identities within the art world. Also, it is now legitimized, means the roles were officially accepted and validated, becoming integral parts of the art world structure. The statement, "This network is what we call the art world," highlights that this formalized system of roles, relationships, and exchanges is what define the contemporary art world. It's not just about individual artists creating art. It's about a complex system where artists, collectors, institutions, and other players interact to create and shape the art world we see today. In 1892 book, the common idea of an artist as a lone genius working in isolation until their art is shown to the world is challenged by Howard Becker's art worlds. Beckers argues that creating art is actually a group of effort, a huge network of people and organizations working together. This art world does include not only the artists, but also those who fund the art, buy it, write about it, sell it, and decide where it's shown. Becker emphasizes how all these connections and interactions are key to how art is made, received, and understood. The growing importance of curators, those who choose which art to exhibit, further supports this idea of collaboration. While the artists remain the source of the creative work, curators now have the considerable influence shaping how we experience and interpret art. This shift moves away from the idealized image of the artist working alone and towards a more complete understanding of art making as a complex social process. But the art world isn't just a single group of people. It's a complicated system with many parts working together. It's a constantly changing network of individuals, organizations, and forces that shape our understanding of art. Building on Becker's ideas, it shows how this network constantly changes what we consider art and makes it seem important and valuable, influencing both art itself and how society views it. This network is worldwide, including schools, museums, galleries, and commercial businesses. This means the art world isn't just about ideas and looks, it's about specialized skills, power structures, and money. Art Basel in Hong Kong is used as an example of a place where all these different people and organizations, like artists, buyers, sellers, curators, and institutions, meet, interact, and have an impact. How the art world isn't just about the art itself, but also about the people, organizations, and money that make it work. The art world is not just about artists and art experts anymore. It become more complicated, needing people with all sorts of skills. For example, there are many important jobs in the art world that involve managing things like money, planning events, and running places like museums and galleries. These jobs, board of trustees, directors, and assistant directors, managing curators, and other posts whose interest is the management and operations of museum, galleries, and other art spaces. Even artists who don't work with galleries need help of an artist managers managing their career and getting their art seen by more people. On the other hand, curators are hard to define exactly. They are kind of like storytellers of the art world. They're the one who figure out what art means, how it connects to other things, and why it is important. There are curators who work for museums and galleries, and then there are those who are independent, moving around different projects. What they all do is to try make sense of art, whether it's a single piece or a whole collection. They need to be good at research and writing, and they also have to decide how things should be displayed and arranged in exhibitions. It's a really interesting job because it's about making art meaningful and exciting for everyone. If curators are the hardest to define, it is buyers and collectors who are probably the easiest to qualify. Buyers and collectors are the people who buy art. Sometimes these roles are seen as the same, but they're actually a little different. To sum up, the art world is far than just artists creating art. It's a vast and intricate network of interconnected roles and relationships. This network, as illustrated by the figure and the detailed descriptions, reveals a complex system where the success of one player often depends on the contributions of many others. This collaborative system, while complex, is what ultimately defines the contemporary art scene, moving beyond the romanticized image of the lone genius artist. But, bakit nga ba natin need pag-aralan pa ito? Because to truly grasp how art is made, shown, and received today, we need to look beyond just the artist. We need to understand the whole network of people and their roles. Each role, like the artist, curator, dealer, collector, etc., plays a part in how art is created, presented, and ultimately understood by the public. That's all for my part. Thank you for listening.